Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Cry Havok. My guest this week is Ansley Marshall. She owns a mobile pet grooming service called Positive Pet Stylists, spelled, the punny way. During this episode, we got a really cool background noise with the thunderstorm that was going on at the time, and I feel like it creates a pretty dope soundscape. And this week, I'm not going to be in Augusta at all. Joe's Underground will be hosted by Skylar Andrews this week in lieu of myself, because I'm actually going to be in Austin, Texas, trying to hit up some open mics there and possibly even get myself on Kill Tony. If anybody has heard of that, you can probably check it out next week. I'll put it in the intro of next week's podcast, whether or not I got on there. So hope you enjoy this episode. Now imagine you are tripping absolute dick on mushrooms. I guess I need to pick it up with my own butthole.
It feels like a magic trick because some people happen.
Why are you asking such deep questions?
There were a few things that I thought of that made me want to get you on the podcast, and one of them is that you are so, dog friendly and, love dogs so much, and I don't feel the same way.
That's right.
Another thing was, you're, I don't know how old, but I assume around my same age, and already have, your own business started, and you're, doing all this stuff. And then, obviously, the fact that you're on what is obviously the most popular podcast ever. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
There's, take your pick of topics, but, I guess, I don't know. If we want to start with, just the dog thing in general.
What about dogs?
Well, I just haven't really had good experiences with dogs over my lifetime. Most of the dogs that I have known and been around have been, that kind of, extra hyper, sort of all over the place.
Yes.
Which, I will say, your dog's not that way. So, kudos.
I don't
Your
know.
dogs, and then there was one other person that I've met before that had a couple of, 2 border collies that were just, the smartest dogs I've ever fucking met on the planet.
Yeah.
She could get them to do literally anything. She was a whole-ass trainer and stuff. And
Yeah. I mean, really, it's spending the time with them and giving them physical and mental enrichment. And so, making their brains and their bodies work.
Yeah.
If you don't do those things and you don't, communicate in a way that your dog can understand, then you're going to have a crazy dog and things are going to happen. You're not going to like it. It's going to do quote-unquote bad things,
Yeah.
And be a bad dog. But I mean, if you do those things, you spend time, you basically invest in the dogs, then you see, good behavior or whatever.
Yeah.
They say, a tired dog is a good dog. So if they're mentally and physically tired, they're not going to be having, over anxious, feelings or whatever, acting that way, because they're getting enough energy out. They're getting enough stimulation elsewhere, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And, perfect time to record a podcast with the storm going on outside. But, I don't know. It also, all of the dogs grew up in a household alongside, 8+ or like 5+ children usually, and I assume being around kids all the time that are fucking with them is probably not the best either.
Yes, that's another thing, like, managing, like, your children and your dogs, like, they really shouldn't be unattended together. I mean, it's just because of the way that children and dogs are. They're just, like, children need to be supervised, most of the time, because they may injure themselves or someone else or whatever. I mean, like, but then when you combine those things together, it just, like, makes for worse things. Because, I mean, like, I love animals, and even as a young age, and I still treated our family dog poorly. I mean, like, I just loved him so much, and I wanted, to hold him and have him with me all the time. I put him in a pillowcase. I was like, I'll just carry him around in a pillowcase. But I didn't know. I was like 5, I was just like, I love you. Come here. Let me love you. Yeah. But, like, obviously that was extremely traumatic for the dog, He was like, what the fuck? Get away from me, So.
There are some times when, like with my cats, I feel like there's like not so much consent on their part when I'm trying to get cuddles or something, but even as an adult, holy shit, it's soaring out there.
It's sideways.
That hurricane, tropical storm, whatever.
But yeah, I even have a bit that I've been doing on stage about how landlords should be charging a kid deposit as well as if they're going to charge a pet deposit. Come on.
But for real, though, I mean, they'll write on the walls and, like, mess stuff up. It's just what they do. Kids and pets, they're very similar. I mean, they're very different, but they're similar at the same time, in that they rely on us for their care and for, their well-being, basically. Right. They can't make their own decisions, so we have to make them for them.
Have you ever considered expanding into mobile kid grooming?
No, absolutely not. No, but I mean, like, I think it would be cool. Like, I know more people are doing, like, a hair salon mobile thing. Yeah. I've seen more of that. We have one here that's like a barber, and somebody else was asking me about it. They were asking for advice because that's what they wanted to do. So they're like, you're a mobile groomer. How do you do it? How does it work? Do you have your van outfitted or whatever? So, but yeah. Yeah. And
another thing about yours that Brittany's told me is that it's cruelty-free, which means that, like, you don't force...
Close.
The animal?
Yeah. Fear-free.
Fear-free. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Or people also call it force-free.
Okay.
It can be force-free or fear-free. I think force-free, that terminology is used more in, like, training kind of aspect, but it's the same concept. Yeah. It's just not forcing the dog, like, to a certain degree, I guess. It's, I don't know. It's hard to... It's different for every dog because they all have a threshold of stress or anxiety that they can endure, I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah. Just like people do, like, you don't like going to the dentist, but you still go because you know that it's good for you and it's not horrible. You just, oh damn, I gotta go to the dentist today, or right now, whatever.
Speak for yourself.
But some people have to have, like, medication, like laughing gas, or it's just like a mild, a little bit, make you feel better. And then there's other people that have to have an actual pill, and then they can't even drive or anything. Yeah. And I relate the same thing to dogs. Like, if they're so stressed that they are trying to injure me or potentially injure themselves and trying to get away, like, you need to do something about that, like, you can't just, like, hold them down or put a muzzle on them. It's be similar to going to the dentist and you were afraid and they put you in a straitjacket instead of giving you medication to make you feel better. Like,
I have PTSD from the dentist because of that, being put in the fucking cocoon.
They wrap you up in blankets?
Yep. Wrap you up in blankets and then they strap the Velcro cocoon over you.
Do they really?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Because I had to get the Novocaine in my gums, and I was freaking out because they just pull up next to you with a fucking needle, and you're like, you gonna put that in my mouth? As a child?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Oh, they can't
either.
do it anymore.
I
They
bet.
can't do
Yeah.
it anymore.
That'd be like abuse.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
There's ethics and stuff involved in it now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And if you can't do it with a child, you shouldn't be able to do it with an animal.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever had laughing gas at the dentist?
Mm-hmm.
The nitrous? Oh my god. It, like,
Fucks you up, bro.
yeah.
That shit's expensive though.
It is
like,
expensive.
And your
That's
insurance
why-
won't pay for it. Like,
Well-
I'm like, this is injustice.
But before I was 25, though, and I was still
Did
on
they pay for it?
my parents' insurance, and yeah, my
Mhm.
parents got it. But god damn, that's like the nicest. Like, I wouldn't mind going to the dentist if I was just
That, yeah.
yeah.
You were-
Because when I went, they put the mask on
Take
me,
the
and the
edge off.
dentist took like, I don't know, like an hour and a half or something to even come around to start working on me.
That
And I
long?
was just like sitting there doing whippets the whole time, basically just
Yeah.
zoning out, like medical grade.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like, the only way I can describe it is like, you just don't give a fuck about anything.
Mhm.
Like, it didn't really numb me up or anything. It was just like a certain kind of high where I just did not care whatsoever
Yeah.
about.
And that's like what I try to get people, or the type of medication I try to get people to give their pets that can't be groomed safely, you know?
Yeah. What's in it? If
Normally, I think the trazodone is like the number one kind of like recommended for that type of thing. It's actually an anti-seizure medication, but like one of the side effects, I guess, you know, the whole thing is meant to kind of like calm them down, and that's, I feel like, maybe why it works for seizures.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like a
It's
Well,
a
that's
depressant
like
or something.
CBD
somehow.
works for seizures in humans and is also calming for humans too. So it's probably something.
And for animals as well. I mean, to a certain degree, a lot of people are like, "Oh, can I just give him CBD?" And I'm like, "No, your dog needs like prescription strength,
Mhm.
like serious, like
Yeah.
you're yeah, some
like real
dogs,
shit.
yeah."
Yeah.
Mhm.
What else was I gonna say? Oh, the competitions and stuff that you go to.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about, I don't know, the process or.
So there's like two different kinds, I guess, of like dog sport kind of competition things that I normally go to. So there's dog shows where I show my dog, my poodle, Breeze, and it's called Conformation. And so it's based off of what he looks like, how he's built, how he acts, and how well that meets the standard, which is a written out, specific, you know, detailed thing about what the dog should look like. I mean, it literally says in some of them, not all, but like angles, exactly 45-degree angle at the shoulder and 30 degree in the rear. And
This is another thing that is just so wild to me because, like, how are you going to judge evolution like that? And, like,
but it's not really evolution. I mean, yes,
it's right. It's that we
But-
stopped it, right? That we took, or that we made it our own.
yes,
That we
yes,
like designed
yes,
it ourselves, and like
yes.
if it's exactly to the plan, then you have a perfect dog. But
right. That's exactly what it is. And I mean, it's so that way you can make more of that same specific dog. You show the dog, and the dog get points,
Yeah.
and it gets a championship or whatever. And that basically is like a seal of approval that says this dog is good enough to breed and make more.
But is it that you like just breed ones that look exactly like two dogs that are on the same blueprint or whatever are probably
Pedigree.
not gonna, well, yeah,
Maybe?
pedigree,
Is
I
that
guess.
what you mean?
Like, even if they're the same exact pedigree, one of them is like better than the other one, right? One of them
Uh-huh.
has the better, like, wins the contest.
Yeah. Well,
So
'cause
if
they're
you have
all
like two of
perfect.
the, right, exactly. So if you have two absolutely perfect ones and they breed, it's not exactly always going to come out with another
Right.
perfect one.
Yes, but I mean, like whenever it was like when you think about biology class or whatever, you put those genes together, it's going to be a combination of those genes. And if those genes
Yeah.
are almost exactly alike, then the offspring are probably going to be, also because it goes back so many generations. There's a certain, to become a registered breed in AKC, you have to be able to show so many generations of dogs and that they look the same and that they are the same and, all that stuff before you can be a breed. But
they don't have ancestry.dog yet.
Basically, you can look up the.
Well, they don't have
that.
You can do genetic
DNA
tests.
testing.
Yes.
Hell
yes.
yeah.
And then you can get the pedigree of the dog, or at least find the parentage and stuff like that. Because I know many breeders who have oops litters, and they didn't know who.
Yeah.
Was the dog okay? If this is the dad, it's okay. But if this is the dad, it's not okay. But they may be too closely related or something like that. Because that can happen too. They have to do each puppy because when there's multiple fetuses, I guess, or whatever, multiple eggs, or then
they
there
can get
be
pregnant
different
by multiple
fathers.
fathers. Yeah, they're hoeing around.
Basically, there are animals though.
For one, I'm against slut shaming dogs. It just seems so. I don't know. It just seems odd to me that you want to keep them the same forever, and
they
it's
were originally designed to do a certain task.
That's
each
true.
breed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And some of them more meaningful than others, I guess. There are many that were bred just to be companions, just because of the way that they look, their size, the way that they act.
What was a Chihuahua's main purpose?
I don't know. I could even
Probably.
look it up.
Hey,
it's probably a
books.
companion because it's in the toy section. But there's so many. You can't.
Yeah.
How can you remember all of this? And this is what. So.
Yeah, that's.
My friend
I
Taylor and
think this book in here.
Oh, here we go. Are trying to get a master groomer certification, which is I don't know. It's pretty prestigious certification, and it has a bunch of different sections in it. It's very in-depth. There's a Chihuahua. So I'm gonna have to learn all of this information in this whole 1,000-page book.
Yeah.
Holy
every
shit.
single thing.
They have a test at the end, I guess.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I don't know. But this tells me the history and everything of how they were bred. And I have to know all of this for each thing.
That's insane. And there are so many dog breeds, too. I also never thought about how many different cat breeds there are.
There are a lot of people, and there's cat shows and stuff because people don't think about there being cat shows, but that's...
Are there cat pedigrees?
Yes, yes, that's what
I guess,
saying.
for
shows.
like the really
Same
fancy
thing with
ones.
horses,
yes.
too.
Yes, horses and even livestock,
Hamsters,
pigs,
fucking
guinea pigs, rabbits, pretty much any domestic animal. There's some sort of, those like state fair. It's the same thing.
Yeah, world's largest pig kind of
right
contests and
the
stuff.
AKC is doing confirmation dog shows, and AKC is similar to that, I would say. It's good breeding stock,
Yeah.
Still don't know where Chihuahuas or what they were bred for. I'll have to learn it one day. I'll have to mark this page.
Yeah.
You were asking about the competitions, and I talked about dog shows.
Yeah.
And then there's the grooming competitions.
Oh, yeah.
So the dog show is about, the confirmation show is about the dog that I have and what he looks like and what his structure is and things like that. And then the grooming competition is about how I groom the dog to fit that standard.
Okay.
Because the dog is not perfect, but I'm fixing the things that don't look perfect by sculpting the hair or whatever.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. So that's what that focuses on. So it's even good if the dog is a little bit imperfect, structurally or whatever, because then whenever I fix those things in the groom and you can't see it from the outside unless you touch the dog, then that gives me bonus points basically, because it was even more difficult for me to make the groom look like that because the dog didn't already look like that.
So you had to make it perfectly curved and even
Right,
and everything.
Right, exactly. And they come through and they comb the dog, and then they comb the next dog, and they are very thorough. And I'm in open level, which is like the advanced division. And so all the groomers in the open level are so good that it could be the difference between one little sprig of hair winning or losing.
God.
I'm so serious.
Damn.
Like, it is that, especially in like the poodle competitions, because that's fierce.
Poodle.
And these people have
poodle, you have a lot to work with.
Yes.
So you have a good block of marble that you can
Yeah.
sculpt and cut.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And I mean, like, in the grooming world too, poodles are just so iconic,
Yeah.
So everybody's like, oh, I want to do poodle,
My grandparents used to have 2 poodles and a Shih Tzu, and it was like the wildest thing to watch them all come barreling down the hallway. The Shih Tzu getting trampled the entire time.
Oh my gosh. Because they were standard poodles?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. That sounds like any little dog at my house. Because I have all the big ones, and they're just
Yeah.
the cat just kind of stays on the outskirts.
Yes.
She's got her own little hiding places for her. A little catio and everything.
Yeah, that little catio is sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so grooming competitions, they're all over the U.S. and internationally. My goal is to get onto Groom Team USA, which is, it's basically like the Olympics of grooming. So, there's top 10, and you're on Groom Team USA, basically. And then out of those, the top 5 are on the travel team, and they get to go to basically the grooming Olympics. It happens every 2 years, and it's international. It could be in any country or whatever.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Mm-hmm. And then other countries come and compete and stuff like that. So, I want to at least make the top 10. And now that I'm in the open level, I can start earning points towards that, because whenever you're in entry and intermediate level, you're basically just gearing up to get into open, I guess. It doesn't really, whenever you win, it doesn't really go towards anything.
I've seen, I think on your Facebook, some of one of the really crazy ones that you did, where it was an actual creative design thing on there, not just the picture perfect poodle one.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I used a standard poodle, and I colored her coat, and I carved it into Moana. Literally, her leg was Moana. It was a sculpture. It just happened to be on a dog.
That's
it was
really cool.
totally 3-dimensional and everything.
Yeah. That's really very popular thing. People make dogs into other animals, and that's really cool. They look exactly like, making a poodle into a camel, and it looks exactly like a camel. The way that they groomed it, the way that they colored it. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen a buffalo, lion, and they transform the whole dog. But it's also really cool, the creative, the competition creative grooming, especially now. It's you have multiple things. Normally each leg is a different kind of character or its own sculpture, rather than making the whole dog into it. So whenever I did mine, I did Moana on the back leg, and then the front leg I had the stingray, and then I had the wave on the body, and the head was Te-Fiti, and then on the other side I did Pua, the pig, and Hey sitting on top of his head.
Nice.
And then I did Maui on the other back leg, and the dog's tail was Maui's hook, and he was holding the hook. Yeah. So
that's
his
really cool.
arm was on the dog's body, and the hook went down the dog's back and up its tail, and Maui was sitting there holding it.
That is really creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people come up with all kinds of stuff. If you use a cartoon, that works perfectly because they're brightly colored. There's normally bold lines. It's not it's already imaginary. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, making it into, like, a different version of, like, imaginary whatever, it translates well, I guess.
Right.
And because it's simple, and they're, like, especially, there's this one creative groomer that I always think of, Leslie Waldrop, I think it's her name. But she always does, like, classic cartoon movies. And that's a really smart idea, too, because people recognize that. Like,
Yeah.
I did Moana, and I felt like it really did a great job, but not a lot of people knew. I thought more people would know, but people were
I think
I've never
Moana
seen it. And I
got-
was like,
yeah.
damn.
I think Moana got passed over on a lot of people. Like, I don't know. It was honestly one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Same.
One of my favorite
Same.
Disney
One of my
movies.
favorite
Moana.
movies.
The
Mhm.
songs in that thing were amazing.
Yes.
Like, honestly, kicks Frozen's ass.
That.
Yes,
Big
for
fact.
real. For real.
But, like, I think a lot of people stopped watching Disney movies and, like, or, like, the animated ones anyway. And,
Why do you think that?
I don't know, just a lot of people that I know, I think, either feel like they're too old for it or, like, Disney dropped off after Toy Story 3 or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
or they're pissed off about Star Wars and they're
Oh.
like...
Yeah. Everybody's got their own agenda, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some people just straight up hate Disney. Just
That's
because...
just so sad. Like, why would you...
Facts.
Like,
Why
why?
would you hate
I
Yeah,
see,
it's supposed to be happy. Like, that's
And
the
I-
whole point of it.
I understand their side of it because, like, there's a lot of cruelty and malice that has gone into Disney, and there's a lot of, like, you know, it's a evil capitalist corporation that's
Yeah.
a giant conglomerate that owns
But who-
basically all of entertainment now.
But, like, who doesn't buy into some sort of conglomerate like
Right.
that?
Oh,
Who,
yeah.
Okay,
It's
you don't shop
unavoidable.
at Walmart. What about, like, you know, like, literally, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
If you own a car,
Your
you know.
phone, no
Right.
matter what brand of phone you have.
Right. Literally
Um,
anything that you do. I mean,
and
it's...
The cool
Right.
thing about them owning all of the movies and stuff is they own all the people that make the best movies and stuff. So they get to put out the best shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and as, like, substanceless as a lot of people think the Marvel movies are, like,
Nah.
yeah, it's not, like, super complicated, and it's superhero stories, so it's shit we've all heard before of, like, oh no, he's dead, oh no, he's back alive, oh no, the bad guy is gonna get him, oh no, he wins at the end, and, you know,
yeah.
we know that's how every superhero movie is gonna go, but it's still cool to watch, and now, I don't know if you've seen the new stuff they're doing with, like, WandaVision and Loki, but
Not
it's
really.
So bad.
very different from the main movies and stuff, and
Love it.
I like it a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
obsessed.
it's a lot
I'm
more,
obsessed with Loki.
That's why you were telling me that, but, like, I don't know. I'm not, like, super into superheroes. Like, I like some of them,
It's
but I really
barely a
should give those
superhero
right.
show.
Right.
Barely.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
an
see. I like
anti-hero.
sci-fi, fantasy kind of
You'll
stuff.
love Loki.
Okay, yeah, but it's like superheroes. I don't know. I just can't get with it, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess because it's like so much action
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Cars
Especially,
and fire
like,
and you know
the,
guns.
The whole, like, the main Avengers movies, like, whenever they have the title Avengers on it, and it's, like, 36 different superheroes in the same movie, like, it's all gonna just be, like, wall-to-wall, nothing, non-stop, like...
Action
Yeah.
scenes.
We went to the movie theater the other day for the first time since COVID to for Father's Day with her family,
Mm-hmm.
and like every single trailer that was before the movie, we went to see Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Not funny.
Yeah, it was
Not
all.
very funny.
They really didn't improve on the concept at all of the first movie. But every trailer before the movie, like, it didn't go, like, 15 seconds without a gunshot. And it's like a movie theater that I haven't been to in a long-ass time. Those speakers are loud as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire movie itself was all gunfire and explosions and, like...
Yeah.
I'm just... That's why I like Disney movies.
Mm.
I liked Luca. Have you watched that one yet?
No, but I've seen the little trailer for it. Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's cute.
It's adorable.
And I want to watch Raya's Last Dragon, too.
Yeah.
We got through about half of it last night.
Yeah.
And so far, it's pretty good. It's not... It's... I don't know. I'll have to finish it before like I give an actual full review,
There's
but...
a lot of time left. Like, we only have,
It's pretty standard stuff. It's pretty straightforward in the, like the entire country has a river running through the middle of it that looks like a dragon. And then all the countries are named after the parts of the dragon that they're on. So it's like little on the nose, but
Fang,
yeah,
talon,
tail,
heart,
spine. Yeah.
tail.
Okay.
But yeah. What do you think?
Grooming. Talk about grooming competitions and dog shows, and I haven't talked about my business. I don't know if
Oh,
we
yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's mobile grooming. I mean, we talked a little bit about the fear-free thing.
Yeah.
But I imagine scheduling that shit is a nightmare.
Yes. yes. I'm sure that you have heard all about it.
I've heard about that. I've heard the van has been, well, the generator anyway.
Yes. There's so many.
If you want to talk shit about the brand specifically and warn any other potential mobile dog groomers.
Yes. I mean, it's Wagon Tail's van with a Cummins owned generator in it, and it sucks. And they gave me another one, and today it's already like active.
Yup.
And I was like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
It was screaming.
I was like,
today.
do you hear that?
I was like, it doesn't sound that
We're just gonna turn it off.
You think
Yeah.
at this point they would just give you a different company's generator?
Well, the thing is,
They
the generator.
contracted with them, aren't they?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really
Well-
sure. It's the only brand, like the only one of its kind, because it can be enclosed.
In
So
the van.
what do
Right.
the other vans have? The other vans have different brands, right? Are they just not enclosed?
Well, there are two. There's two major companies that make grooming vans that I know of. I think they're both on the East Coast, kinda. But one uses the generator, the Onan generator, and then the other uses only an inverter system. There's no generator.
Oh, okay.
So you have a lot less power, but or maybe not a lot less, but I don't know. There's just pros and cons to both kinds. I mean, some people, swear by one or the other, or some people say, like, you got to get a diesel generator, then you don't have any problems with the diesel generator, it's the gas generator.
Yeah.
Something about maybe
Diesel's probably
the
way more
van
expensive,
moving
though.
all the time. Yes, and then also in the design of the van that I got, the gas tank for the van and for the generator are the same. And so it has to run off of the same type of gas. But now that's different. So you can get a gas van with a diesel generator because, you don't really want a diesel engine in your vehicle, but it works better in the generator. There's less
I don't know, I
problems.
feel like diesel wouldn't be terrible for a big old van like that. It might even...
I don't know. I don't know that much about fuel stuff. That's just what I've heard,
Usually the bigger stuff, the bigger the vehicle, it's probably better with diesel just because,
I think that they
diesel is a little more efficient than regular gas.
There used to be a diesel option in, the Wagon Tails vans, but then they switched it to gas, so they had to switch the generator to gas. So. But a lot of people put generators on the outside of their van, too, and then they can just bypass the Onan generator and don't have to worry about it, and everybody gets a Honda.
Then you have
and
to...
it's way better.
Yeah.
But it has to be outside.
Right, and then you have to take care of a generator outside of the van.
Right,
Which
so,
gets in the ways of the doors and...
the weather.
Yeah. Yeah. Which a lot of the generators are weatherproof. I know pretty much every boss I've had in construction has had a generator that just kind of sits on the back of a truck somewhere and
Yeah.
gets rained on and whatnot every once in a while, but seems to be fine. Although, as much as you need it, you want to take care of that fucking thing.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you use it for everything.
My livelihood. Yeah. It really sucked not having one. I wanted to literally like rip all my hair out all the time. I was like, oh my god, and y'all can't do anything for me, you know? You're just gonna make me sit and wait and like, oh man,
Literally,
it sucks so much.
An electrical circuit's like worst enemy is a heated hair dryer. Like that'll trip an electrical circuit
And those
almost
forest
all
fires
day.
are-
Like,
Woo! Wattage load. Woo!
And then running the AC at the same time.
yep.
And then other things like plugged in and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Running the pumps for the water and everything. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Anytime you're
It's so complicated. So many different, like, little pieces of machinery that
yeah,
are used so much.
right.
I mean,
How were you doing it before you got the van, or you didn't start doing the mobile grooming until you got the van? You just
like
where were you grooming before? I know you worked at the one she worked at.
Doggone it.
Doggone it.
You don't
That's-
speak their name.
Um,
But I've worked at multiple salons
yeah,
in Augusta. I feel like mini. And I'm like, oh yeah, I used to work there.
yeah,
I'm like, I just need to work for myself. Obviously, there's a
right,
common denominator here.
Yeah.
But, because I just want to do my own thing. But I did mobile for like 6 months on the weekend. I used my friend Alicia's van. She let me borrow her van on the weekends. And so I got to build clientele and I got
Nice.
to learn stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was she helped me a lot by letting me do that. It sucked because I worked like 7 days a week because my other job was like, no,
Right.
we don't want you to be giving your time away. And I was like, oh, this is just stupid. I just
Yep.
really need to get
Right.
out of here.
Just take the plunge. Yeah,
Yeah, so I did that for like 6 months. I ended up working part-time in a different salon during then, like with the understanding that I would be leaving in a short amount of time. It was just like
Right.
a helping extra kind of thing to supplement whatever I was making on the weekends. But, and then I went full-time in January of this year, so it's been 6 months. And I thought about that today. Well, I guess like 7 months, over
Hey.
7 months now. And I'm like, I was thinking about that today while I was like, I don't know, getting the van ready this morning, I guess. I was like, I've actually been doing this whole time, you know, making money, paying my bills, you know, waking up every day and taking care
being
of shit.
your own fucking boss.
Yeah, living by myself, owning my own house and my car, and taking care of my animals, like 5 animals. That's a lot. And
It's
some
a
fish.
lot, and they're big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 big ass dogs. I was telling Brittany the other day, those things must eat so much food.
They do. Oh my
They
God.
do. They eat like every single time. It's at least a cup.
I feel
Yeah,
like
they eat- and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more, but
I feel like our
5,
cats go through food
10
fast,
cups
and
of
they're
food a day for all of them. 10 cups of food.
God damn.
Yep, Yep. And you have like flea medicine and vets because they're always
Oh, yeah.
times 5.
somebody's always like throwing up or getting
Mhm.
over diarrhea, or you know, this one had a skin thing, or
Yeah.
that one has an eye thing, this one has the anxiety thing. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I still want more.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I'm crazy dog lady. But I mean, like they serve a purpose too. I guess now I have so many for me to
Yeah.
justify getting another one. It has to be for a specific purpose that one of
And
my
you-
other dogs can't fulfill, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know? So the next dog that I plan to get, I'm going to use for grooming competitions and for dog shows, and it's going to be a different kind than breeds than the poodle. You know,
Yeah.
so it's going to serve a different purpose. But
When you said that, I was gonna guess scuba diving, but
what? Guess what?
A different purpose? I don't know.
Oh, for scuba diving?
Scuba diving, yeah.
Well, there's dock diving. Have you ever heard of that?
Of what?
Dock diving for dogs.
No, I have not.
What? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And a lot of dogs love it.
Mm-hmm.
They run and they jump off of a dock into water and they measure how far they jump and they get points. And but you also have to teach the dogs to do it because they have to like go up this ramp and then they have to run from the end of the dock and then jump and leap off.
Yeah.
And not a lot of dogs just like are like, heck yeah, fling themselves off of a dock as far as they can. You know, you have to teach them like, this is fun, this is how you do it, you know, like,
yeah.
And then some of them like go crazy for it. They like hype them up beforehand. They're like, come on, let's go, you're gonna get you know, and so it gets the dog's energy up and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get it, you know, and they throw the thing and they run and they jump. It's so cute. And to see like the photos of them when they hit the water and stuff too and like their cheeks roll back and everything, you know.
I think I might have seen this before.
I think I've seen like the spoof
or the dogs
photos.
underwater
I didn't
ones.
know it
Those
was
are
called
catching
dock
the balls
diving,
and like
but
the
yeah,
little duck things.
Yeah, and you can use your own toy, whatever works best for your dog, that your dog gets your dog hype about it.
Yeah.
But it's also cool because you don't really, from what I understand, you don't really compete against other people so much. I mean, like, you kind of can, but it's mostly about, like, doing better than what you did last time. And, like, getting better at it, you know, for yourself. Yeah. Beating your own score, kind of, is what it's about. But you can be, like, you know, the top 10 furthest jumper in that breed or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But,
obviously, somebody's keeping score.
Right. Because it is like a sport.
Right.
You know, it's considered a dog sport.
Yeah.
So, and then there's weight pulling.
They
they like pull carts with weight in it.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's especially
That's
like
cool.
good for like working breeds that were like designed to do that kind of thing, or like you know, like huskies or you know, or like malamutes, you know, that kind of thing. Sometimes, but also different dogs can do things like you know. Poodles and Labradors and stuff like that were meant to jump off of the dock.
Yeah.
That would translate most to what they were originally bred to do.
But
they let other dogs do
right?
it too. Yes.
Yeah.
Retrieving,
Going
gun
and getting
dogs.
the bird.
Right, exactly. And so, but people get other breeds into it. Like, I know this woman that has Pomeranians. The Pomeranians do dock diving.
Oh my god.
You know?
That's gotta be adorable.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Little poofs.
I was just about to ask if they did it with like tiny dogs. Like, like what is the? Do you know maybe what like far distance is for like a Pomeranian jump?
I can't imagine who could be
Probably like 2 or 3
far.
feet, maybe.
Yeah, maybe if that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they would just like drop right off the end, like straight down.
Well, just most of them probably trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Trip off the end of the dock.
Have you heard of the acro cats before?
No, well, Brittany was
Brittany
telling
was
me
telling
about
you-
it today.
yeah.
I was like, that is insane. How many cats?
It's like she's got like
80 to 100?
No, that was the
Total.
people that lived on the island in Greece or whatever.
No, she's got 80 to 100 because she fosters and does the litters. She does the litters and she travels. She
I thought it
travels
was
with
like
upwards
30
of,
or 40 or
30
something.
or
But
40
anyway,
go
it's
in
a
the
lot.
Still, whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's 30 or 80, still, that's a lot. I feel like realistically it's probably more like 30 or 40. Maybe she has 80 to 100 total, but the others live in like a home base type
They
of
do.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And the performers, there's only maybe like 20 performers. I think.
That sounds more realistic. But even then, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
But I mean, I know dog people like that. They have similar type of, maybe not quite so many numbers, but in small dogs, in Chihuahuas, you may have 20, 30 dogs with you, especially if you live on the road all the time.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times people have like a home base, and that's their like kennel, and they have a bunch of other dogs that live there too.
Right.
But
God, I wish I could remember the name or literally like any details. But there was I think it was like a little like 9 to maybe 12-year-old girl that was on America's Got Talent that was a dog trainer, and she had like 9 dogs all perfectly trained, and they were doing all sorts of stunts and stuff. They did like a conga line at one point, and they were like just perfectly trained, and she's like 12 years old, and you're like, how the hell did you...
The kids that do dog shows, if you're under 18, you're called a junior, or what's considered a junior, and oh my gosh, they are scary. They scare me. I'm like, because like they are so good, and it's like,
They
oh my
grow
gosh,
up
and then they're like mean too. They're like not really mean, but they're like,
but
we know what we're doing, you know,
exactly.
and you don't, you're stupid, you know,
Because
because I only like just got into it, and I'm like,
Right.
right, and they're like born into it kind of because their parents do. I mean, not always, but a lot of times, and then they work for a handler and they get, you know, basically work experience all the time doing it, but. I mean, you have to dedicate so much time. I mean, that girl spent all day, every day when she wasn't at school, if she even went to school, you know, maybe she's homeschooled, so she's with the dogs all the time. I mean, that could be a possibility, but that's the only way you can do that kind of things, like, especially that many, and then consistency, too.
Constant consistency.
Yeah, if you don't do it, then they forget it, and if you don't do the exact same thing every time, then they don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, and then cats, I'm sure, would be even more difficult.
Well, I mean, they're going to be similar. Like, teaching them is going to be similar, you know, like, kind of like cause and effect type of thing, you know? Like, you do the behavior, then you get the reward, and being consistent about rewarding for that behavior, and using what's called, like, a marker, so, like, a word or a sound that means do this, or if you hear the sound and you do this, then you get a treat, you know? Or then whatever motivates the animal. Because, like, for some dogs, it's, you know, like a ball or a toy or something like that.
The acrocat lady said, treats and a clicker.
Yep. Clicker training is, like, the easiest way to train, like, any animal from what I know of. Because it's like,
it's
yes,
an
you did the right
association.
thing. Right, yes.
That's that Pavlov...
Yeah.
Terrible experiment.
Experiment?
But we learned, well, he literally tortured dogs, but to get them done.
I believe it. But I mean, like, that's...
It was the one where he rings a bell and then...
Yes, I know about...
I'm sure you do.
But, but I don't know about him torturing necessarily. I just know the theory Pavlov's dog, not actually much about Pavlov or the actual dog.
I've just heard it's terrible, so I don't know even if that's true, but I believe it
because I mean we've done it in the past, you know, many of people to get to many of scientific revelation, you know, not that that's good saying it, but I mean like people break rules to do
sometimes
crazy
to
things
even
and find
prevent new stuff from coming out, like Edison electrocuted an elephant to death to try and prove that alternating current electricity, the thing that Tesla was inventing, was super dangerous. He was like, look, it can kill an elephant, it'll kill you. And it's like, okay, well, so would yours, but you didn't shock the elephant with your electricity, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Pavlovian response thing is, like, it's even crazy because, like, I'll notice it in myself sometimes, and it's that, like, nostalgia thing of, like, I was talking about this, I think, on one of the other episodes, about how McDonald's basically just tastes like nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's the only flavor that it has to me, because I used to have it all the time as a kid, so every time I have it, it's, like, triggering that part of my brain to be like, oh, this is what I got when, you know, what made me happy.
Yeah, subliminal messaging, but also like, you know, sugar and fat, like make you feel good. You know, they release, I don't know, endorphins or whatever.
Yeah, dopamine probably.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, make you feel good.
Right.
For a second.
Yeah.
And then you eat more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, people do it. We do it like in behaviors like that. We do, you know, like. We do things and then it works out well and we do it again and we continue to do it, you know, like, because it worked.
Right.
We got rewarded in some way, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a little more complicated than that a lot of times, much more like subliminal, I guess, and we don't realize that that's what's happening.
Yeah. That's one thing. Something that doing psychedelics has showed me is like it opens you up to looking at every single one of your behaviors that you're doing and like seeing like, why am I doing that, or what am I really doing here? What's really causing this?
Yeah, so many people have told me that. Or not necessarily that, but like specific things. Like I just talked to somebody yesterday, I guess, and she was like, "Yeah, that kind of stuff makes you. It really shows you yourself."
Yeah.
Is the way that she said it, I think, and I was like, I've heard that, so I'm always like scared. Like it's not knowing like what's real or not is like a definite fear of mine. So that's why I haven't done anything like that.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's not knowing whether or not it's real, because like I didn't know whether or not anything was real in the first place. Because, like, I don't, that's just my view of the universe. I just have no idea what it could be. And it could be that all of this is, a simulation or not real. But, doing that, it, like, shows you what it's really like to not know whether or not it's real. And you're like, okay, well, maybe my regular mind isn't so bad.
But I mean, like, I know what you're saying, too. I mean, like, so much... Yeah, is it real? Is this,
right.
know?
The first time that I ever really tripped was on mushrooms, and I, during the trip, like, started, like, going inward, and, like, the whole thing inside of my mind took me through my entire life, but I had gotten arrested, and I had gotten put in jail for life for doing mushrooms. And then I finally got out of jail as an old man, and then finally died, and then I snapped back to reality as myself, like 22 years old. And I was like, holy shit, I have my entire life ahead of me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that sounds like a crazy dream.
Basically. Yeah, basically.
Like,
except it's way more vivid than a dream.
Yeah.
And I've never had anything like that happen since, and I've been doing them since, every once in a while. Most of the time, it's just, like, inner monologues type of stuff, or, like, sometimes with acid, it'll be, like, if you close your eyes, you'll get a lot of, like, visual stuff. The last time I did acid, I did a, yoga class on the come down. Like, I was...
I heard some about
and,
that.
at the end, they were doing the Shavasana, where you're just laying down on your back, close your eyes, and you're just, like, basically meditating. And right before it happened, I was like, okay, this is about to be a fucking mirror into my own mind. And I closed my eyes, and it was just a bunch of me's arguing with each other. Not like arguing, but like talking to each other, talking over each other, like constant noise and chatter. And I was like, holy shit, this is annoying.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I can relate to that.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, every time...
What'd you say?
It said hashtag anxiety.
Yeah.
That's my inner chatter most of the time.
Yeah.
And
Am I good enough? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're not trying hard enough. You could do better.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing the,
Right.
Why haven't you done that? You shouldn't have done this. Like, oh my God, kill me now.
Yeah. And every time, like, that it's even gotten to, like, an uncomfortable or, like, an even dark place, if you would call it that, it's still... Like, I wouldn't ever describe anything I've had as, like, a bad trip. It's just a difficult trip. It's just a...
Some are just not as great as others.
Well, not as fun.
Yeah, they're harder.
Sometimes it's not supposed to be fun.
Without.
Sometimes it's supposed to help you through some shit. And I feel like...
It shows you what things truly are for you. Like, oh, you think that doesn't mean a lot to you? Why have you thought about it for the last 4 hours? Oh, didn't even realize 4 hours have happened. Same topic. Boom. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
One day. One day I will
Start
gather the courage.
Small.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
start
Oh,
small.
yes.
Very small. Just a little bit of mushrooms. That's my advice for anybody
Oh, no,
who's trying to...
Yeah, mushrooms would be the only thing that I would ever do. I don't think I would ever really do any, like, serious, likely psychedelic, you know, acid type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just too much for
I wanna-
me.
I want to go deeper.
Yeah.
I want to do
The
DMT.
complete opposite. Yeah.
What is that?
He's a psycho.
It's dimethyltryptamine. It's the strongest psychedelic known to man. It's often, it takes, like, you take a hit of it, you smoke it,
Mm-hmm.
usually. Sometimes there's, like, liquid versions or whatever. But it's called the spirit molecule. And basically everybody that takes it, the trip itself is like 8 to 15 minutes. And then it's supposed to be like 100 eternities while you're actually tripping. And one of the most common described things that people talk about experiencing afterwards is being contacted by an entity or entities from whatever the other side, the DMT realm is, and it actually, like, not so much like speaks, but conveys its intention towards you or whatever, like, it's intentionally ineffable, like, unable to be described or use language for, but I just really I want to fucking know.
Yeah.
See, and I'm like
Yeah.
you. I'm scared of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's my fear. Is like, do I
just feel
really want to know? Is
Yeah.
that gonna destroy everything I
Yeah.
know today?
Right.
Am I gonna be the same after that? I'm
No.
like, ah.
No, but you shouldn't be the same after that. That
But
would be
also,
incredible. It'd be like meeting aliens. It's literally meeting aliens. And I want to know what that's like.
But I mean, like, there's, you know, things that we're not really meant to know, I feel like, you know?
Mhm.
You're not meant to know what death is like. You know what I'm saying? Until that happens, until you get there, you know? You can't
I don't know.
try to, like, cross that bridge early. I feel
You
like
never
that's
used
cheating.
a Game Shark?
A what?
It's a cheat code machine for the Game Boy.
Oh,
my
no,
gosh.
no.
No,
But
you never
I don't
Skip
like...
to the end of a book.
Nope,
No.
nope, nope.
Not
Nope,
once.
Never skip to the end of a book ever.
Yeah,
I don't want to know. I don't want
Right.
to ruin it.
Right. I totally agree
I
with
want to
that.
have the experience as it's meant to be experienced.
Yeah, because then it's like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. And
What's the point doing? Like, what's the point playing the game if you're gonna cheat? If it's not real, you know, or if you don't care about it, you know what I'm saying? That much, like.
But
and that's how I
sometimes.
use tripping, though, is like
To cheat?
to have the not to cheat. To have the experience as it's meant to be, and like that's my concept of when I enter into a trip is I need to go with the flow because it's going to tell me what I'm not able to see on a normal basis with all of the things that cloud my human experience that I'm having as a spiritual being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also...
Like your consciousness at that time, you know, worried about this or that, and things get confusing. Is this affecting my emotion about this? You know, how do I really feel about that?
Yeah,
shit's
really
fucking
feel?
annoying.
Uh-huh.
How? What? Like you should know how you feel because it's you, but then we lie to ourselves and like, you know, I'm like, am I lying to myself?
Yeah.
Am I trying to? Do I really feel that, or am I just trying to make myself feel like that because I feel like I should, or you know, like what? What?
And then mushrooms will be like, hey, dummy, this is what you think about yourself. How do you feel? Huh? And then you're like, I'm sorry.
I love myself. What are you
I don't know if
talking
I've gotten through a mushroom trip without apologizing at some point. It's just like one of the phases.
Apologizing to someone or
just
to yourself?
to and for everything.
I mean, like, I've felt that way many a times without, you know, I'm like, I'm sorry for everything that I ever did to anyone. I'm sorry that I forgive anyone that ever did anything to me, you know, and I just love everyone and want everyone to be happy and, like, you know, sometimes it just, like, hits me, you know. I used to cry myself to sleep whenever I was, like, 13, 14, like 12 to 14 probably, thinking about the earth and how no one cared. And how it was just gonna die, and it was all me. It was only I was the only one that cared about the animals and their habitats and stuff like that. I seriously did all the time.
Such good friends.
Yeah, right. Well, I knew. I mean, not just animals, but you're also a huge plant nerd too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Plants and animals. I want to go back to school for. I don't know, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. No, not botany, but
ecology.
like, yeah, I think so. I think
I could
or
totally
something like
see
that.
you as an
Wildlife
ecologist.
biology, zoology, something along those things. Whenever I was younger, I always wanted to be an entomologist, which is somebody who studies bugs and arachnids and stuff. So
gross, but yeah.
I
mean, some bugs are really cool, but most of them.
People are like, oh, I'm afraid of spiders. I'm like, I wanted to study them. I wanted that to be my job all day, every day, you know?
I used to want to be a marine biologist, which,
I can see that.
still I would fucking, like, I would love to even just, like, go,
See, I'm afraid
like,
of the
scuba
ocean
diving
like
and
that.
shit.
I mean, I'm scared
especially
of the
not
deep
scuba
ocean.
diving. Like,
deep
the
ocean.
bins, you never heard of the bins? That's, thank you. I'm going to stay over here.
Have you seen
tidal stuff? Yeah, I'm all about that. You know, that's cool.
Have you seen My Octopus Teacher?
No, but I have heard many a things that I should watch it.
It's
People
so
are like,
good.
do it!
This guy goes out there, no scuba gear or anything. He's just trained himself to be able to hold his breath for super long periods of time.
He did that. He was a photographer, a wildlife photographer for, you know.
Yeah.
Marine biology.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then just goes and hangs out with an octopus every day for like a few years, or like 2 years. A year or 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah. Long time to be chilling with an octopus. Like,
every single day.
They don't live very long. It's usually like 3 years or some shit.
I think it depends on the species. I know a lot of times whenever, like, the females die whenever they lay the eggs, and then the eggs hatch, you know, and then they eat them.
They have to defend the eggs the entire pregnancy, or the entire incubation period, rather.
Right.
So they can't go and get food for themselves.
Yes, and so they, like, starve to death, and then, they're food for the next generation.
Tragic, yet beautiful.
The circle of life.
Yeah. Which, we were having this discussion, me and Brittany were on the last podcast, about, like, vegetarian or veganism, and, like, where do you draw the line of what you'll eat and what you won't eat, and that brought up, like, well, I won't eat stuff that is alive, but plants are alive, and we didn't really, like, where do you...
Biggest struggle.
What do you think the line of what's alive is?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it depends, like, from biology or whatever, it's, like, exchange of, like, air or something like that. I can't remember exactly, like, now that's
it's
annoying.
like
Exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide?
Homeostasis.
No, not necessarily. Maybe,
like,
yeah, but
some
not,
kind
like...
of thing like that, but not... Yeah, but not. Like, that was my thing, is
like a
but
rock is not alive, but then there's, like, a, you know, like, is it not alive because it doesn't move?
Right, exactly.
But a tree doesn't move, you know? It's, like,
but trees do move. They just move really slow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess the way they grow or whatever. I can't remember exactly what the thing is that, you know, it's like, okay, this is alive and this is not. But, I mean, I was a vegetarian for a long time, and I always said, you know, people would be like, oh, well, you know, you're eating plants. Plants are alive too. And I'm like, well, if I could eat dirt and not kill anything, then I would. But I can't.
Yep.
So I have to eat plants.
I would.
I seriously said that to people, and I also, would say like, well, I don't have to eat animals. I can, I don't need to, so why would I?
Yeah, and plants are a lot less noisy when you kill and eat them.
Yes, there's no blood or anything like that, much.
Just
well,
sap,
I guess I don't know.
so you can pour their blood on your pancakes.
Ah, delicious blood. Delicious tree blood. Oh my gosh.
You use insects like bees to harvest their cum and make it into
It's their puke,
honey.
thank you. It's their puke.
Well, no, it's the plant's cum, it's the bee's puke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because bees
Pollen?
get the pollen,
Yes,
and then they vomit up.
I got it.
Yeah.
Took me a minute.
The circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Like,
We're alive because of bees. Save the bees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a, I don't know if it's like a YouTube page or a TikTok or something. It shows me them on Reddit all the time, but this lady that, like, saves bee colonies, like, that's
So
her
cool.
job.
So cool.
She, like, people will have a bee colony that they found, like, one was in an old, an abandoned building in the back of, like, the tank of a toilet, and she has to, like, get in there, just, like, start scooping up bees. She's completely barehanded, like, not wearing I think she might be wearing a screen in front of her face or something, but just in regular clothes, just scooping up bees by the handful, trying to find the queen. And then once she finds the queen, she can put her inside one of those little hair clips, and then puts the hair clip wherever you want the bees to go into the new hive.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other bees just follow the queen. And it's like the craziest shit I've ever seen, like, that she doesn't get stung 1,000 times. Like,
What is it? What's her secret?
I don't know. It
She
doesn't.
just
She's
does
just
it.
calm about doing it, I
Yeah.
guess. Just.
And that's the thing about
They can
bees is
smell
like they're
fear.
not gonna hurt
They
you.
can smell. The bees
They
can smell
literally
fear.
can smell the pheromones that you give off when you're like fearful. Same
That's
thing with
literally
plants.
how they talk
That's how
to each
they
other.
find
Is
plants
pheromones. So.
And pheromones, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I know that's how ants work. That's how they follow each other.
Mm-hmm.
They lay down a trail, and they go one way, and they leave a dotted trail. And if they find something, then they come back, and then they make it like a straight line,
Yeah.
They fill in the dots, and so then the other ants know to follow that one.
What
they
I
know
want to
that
know,
leads to food.
because, like, there have been times, like, if there's an ant problem in the house, like my parents' house growing up, obviously there's a bunch of kids, so eventually they're going to leave food around. But the ants would, like, you'd sit there and you'd see the one ant that's come up there, and he's, like, just found the food that just got sat down there, and within, like, no time at all, here come the rest of the fucking ants. That first ant hasn't even left yet, and you're like, how did you all know? Like, he didn't go back and report it or anything, just, I don't know. Think they have some sort of other way to communicate that we don't know about or something.
Very much could be. I mean, it's hard for us to understand because we're not,
Right.
like birds can see another color.
Yeah,
That we can't see.
it's insane.
It's like, but like, how do we even know that? How do we figure that out? Like,
By cutting their eyes open.
maybe, I don't know.
I think
probably, yeah.
probably.
That's,
That's how we figured out everything about us.
Right, and how we've learned about other animals and stuff. I mean,
there's a new documentary on Netflix called Life in Color, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't seen it, but I know, and it's narrated by David Attenborough.
Attenborough.
Mm-hmm.
I
tried to watch his documentary thing, but I couldn't. It just made me so sad.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel so guilty. I can't.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead. Life in Color.
Yeah, there are these fish that have like UV vision or whatever, and turns out if you point a UV camera at these fish, they've each got individual designs on the side of them that designate each individual fish. So they basically have name tags, but you can only see it if you're looking at it with a UV camera. And it's just the craziest shit.
I believe it. I mean, like, because, they can, like, a lot of animals recognize each other by their call, and to us it all sounds the same, like,
right.
The mom zebra being able to tell which, zebra baby is certain whenever they look all the same, or their stripes look all the same,
Well,
like,
that's just racism.
It is. Racist against zebras.
But yeah,
Are
not
black
all
with
zebras
white
look
stripes,
alike, okay?
or
And they
white
also
with black
don't know
stripes?
all know each other. But like wolf packs and stuff will communicate non-verbally to each other.
Yeah, body language, especially with, like, I know with dogs, that's very, a way to communicate with them.
Yeah.
A way for us, like a way that we as humans don't always realize, because that's a very important part of their language. And it is ours, but not quite as much as theirs, I guess, because we rely more on speech,
Right.
Whereas they can't
Almost
make so
entirely.
many different noises.
Yeah. But speaking of noises, like dolphins and whales and stuff, whales can communicate across hundreds of miles to other fucking whales. And like,
Insane.
just phenomenal. Like, the complexity of a dolphin, like brain, and like, you want to talk about something that's probably smarter than we are. Dolphins, octopi, like
Lizard people.
lizard people. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got us by the balls,
Yeah.
basically.
Those
They
lizard
run our
people.
entire society. So, from the underground, too. Like, they don't even have to be up here.
Oh,
They
right.
just-
Do they live in the center of the earth, or
Yes,
that's a different thing?
The hollow earth.
The
Yeah,
hollow-
they live in
hollow.
there.
So that's the same?
I mean, now it is. They're combining
Okay,
them.
I didn't know.
I don't know if it is. It probably is. I haven't read a whole lot
it
of
could
Hollow
be,
Earth,
like,
but I
they're
do know
all of the conspiracies are probably connected
Yeah.
somehow.
QAnon is probably a lizard. He's probably
A lizard.
one of them who's
Yeah.
defected and is
Yeah.
releasing all of the stuff. I finally finished the documentary about it, and basically it just kind of seems like the
About
guy
the
who runs...
Lizard people?
No,
Documentary?
not the lizard people, the QAnon thing.
Oh, okay.
The guy who runs 8chan and the guy who, like, codes for the web page or whatever that QAnon was posting on seems...
I don't even know what's QAnon? I feel like
started,
I should know. But I don't.
It was, you remember January 6th when everybody stormed the Capitol?
Yeah.
That was, like, originally sort of, like, I don't know, it's hard to say who, like, started it or incited it, but QAnon, for Donald Trump's entire presidency, is supposed to be this super anonymous guy that has a Q-level security clearance, and he's really close to the president, and he knows everything that's going on in the upper echelons. And then QAnon was all behind Donald Trump. Donald Trump was supposed to be like the Lord and Savior that's here to save us from the Democrats and the evil pedophiles that are taking
Jesus
over the...
reincarnate or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
There was a YouTube video that somebody had showed me a while back that essentially said, like, Donald Trump is our savior. He's here to kick out all the bad people and get rid of the pedophiles. And I'm just like, really?
Crazy.
You think he's
No.
the guy who runs Miss America pageant? Yeah. He's not a pedophile, of course.
Not even a little bit.
Anyway, but QAnon was all about some Donald Trump and talking about how he was going to save the world. And when Joe Biden got elected, everybody was like, oh, it's a conspiracy, they rigged the election, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And then, January 6th was supposed to be Inauguration Day or whatever, and instead Donald Trump held this huge speech or rally or whatever in D.C. and then told everybody, like, let's go to the Capitol, and all the people went to the Capitol and stormed in and just caused chaos. But
Stupid.
basically, throughout this documentary, I kind of get, and I'm sure it's the guy who made its opinion, and that's the opinion that you're supposed to get from it, but it kind of seems like the guy who does the coding for the website that QAnon was posting on is probably QAnon. Like, he definitely seemed super suspicious about it, and like there was all these like connections that the guy who was making the documentary had made. Never really like got a full confession out of the guy, but at one point the guy gets really cocky about it and like says something that doesn't quite incriminate him, but you can kind of like tell that wink is there. But yeah, and I don't think anything has been posted from like since the January 6th thing, but there are a lot of people that still like believe in QAnon. Like it became Donald Trump's main following was QAnon people who are like, they get t-shirts, they get hats, they have make the signs. The guy with the
how do I
the
not
horns,
know what this is? Yeah.
The guy with the Buffalo Bill or the Buffalo hat or whatever that stormed the Capitol. You remember him? He had face paint and a cape and
yeah.
He was
think so.
Yeah.
But I try not to like watch that kind of stuff or like get into that because it just like I don't know, it upsets me and I feel like I'm a bad person because I can't handle it. But
No.
like
No,
No.
that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No,
Hell
no,
no.
it's
I feel like
mainly
I'm
for
like
me.
a sheep,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
because
just
I'm like I
stupid.
just can't deal with that kind of thing. It's just not me, you know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I got enough to worry about.
Yeah.
I have enough that is hard to do on a daily basis for just me to deal with.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, my parents are always like, oh, well, you know, this is, you need to do better, do more, you know.
Pay more attention to politics.
Right, yes,
Yeah, no.
and vote, because you're the future, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can't even, you know, hardly pay my bills on time, man. Like,
No.
I can't put the time and energy into deciphering all the bullshit that comes out of all the news and all the politicians and stuff like that. That's like a full-time job, and I ain't got time for that.
The only reason I knew about the QAnon thing was because A, I love conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And B, because
they are
one of the things that QAnon talked about was the Epstein thing. That was one of the first, like, big breaks that QAnon did. But the thing about...
Which one was that one again?
Jeffrey Epstein had an entire island where he would take underage girls and high-powered politicians and like people from all over the world, and then he got suicided in his jail cell. But that whole story QAnon had posted about before it ever even happened. But like, it was not an uncommon conspiracy theory at that point. It was not everybody was talking about it, but like Alex Jones had already talked about it, and like all these other conspiracy theorist people had already talked about it. Just so happens you throw enough spaghetti at the wall, eventually something's going to stick. So, like, you know, just because he got that thing right, there's like a million other things that he had posted that nothing ever came of.
Right.
It's just that when you're convincing people that QAnon has all the information, you only show them the stuff he got right, and then they...
Right. Well, I mean, you could say, you know, people who write Simpsons, they know.
Yeah, exactly.
They know everything that's going to happen.
They did predict Donald Trump.
That being, that extraterrestrial sentient being or whatever that you see whenever you're on DMT, they probably are giving the Simpsons their information.
Probably. Yeah. That, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Because also, didn't the same guy do Futurama?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's all like...
And I swear to God, Futurama, like, you have to have done psychedelics at some point in your life to write that shit.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Like, there's some stuff in Futurama.
Like Rick and Morty, something like that. Like,
oh, yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. I can't get into that kind of stuff. Like, adult cartoons, I don't know why, I just can't...
I love it.
Same.
I feel like it's
Rick and
people
Morty
either
is one of
love
my
it or
favorite.
hate it, I guess, you know?
Yeah, there's no in-between. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah. Any adult type, like, cartoon. I can't think of one that I'm like, yeah, I like that. You know? I don't know.
I like the
Like
intricacies. Oh, yeah. Anime is... Have you watched Demon Slayer?
I don't think so. You were telling me some anime that I should watch the other night. Or, well, I guess that was a couple weeks ago now, maybe.
Yeah.
Would it be Darling in the Franxx?
Darling in the Franxx, maybe?
I like ones with, like, animals and stuff in them. I like the Studio Ghibli stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't watched all
What
those.
is your favorite one?
That's really hard. I like Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes.
Have you watched Princess Mononoke?
I have watched some of it, but I haven't watched all of it. My friend Eric was like, "You gotta watch this.
I was about
You'll
to say,
love it."
That would be probably my guess on what your favorite would be.
I bet. Because, I mean, like, she's raised by wolves or whatever, right? Or she, like, is...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally right up my alley. Like, I really like, what's the one? Shoot, I can't remember. They, like, turn into different animals.
Spirited Away?
No, it's
that's
not
just
Studio Ghibli. It's on Netflix, though. But I do love A Whisker Away.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Good. So good.
Yeah.
I want to turn into a cat.
Right.
Please?
Yeah. Have you seen, and it's not Studio Ghibli, but the movie Wolf Children?
Mm-mm.
It's another anime, like, it's basically Ghibli, like, stylized animation and, like, that type of vibe and everything. Watch it. That's another one that you specifically...
You're going to have to text me those.
Yes.
So that way I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like B&A. That was the name of the show that I like. They they're like people, but then they can be like beasts. I can't remember. And they like turn into, you can like morph, I guess, into a different animal or whatever.
Yeah.
But not, everybody has their own animal or whatever. And
right.
I don't
their
know.
own persona.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. Like, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. It's probably why I like it. And I like Beastars.
Oh my god.
Beastars.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I haven't
Hell
thought
yeah.
of them forever.
And there's another one that I like that's like that like furry kind of thing. Oh shoot, I can't remember the name of it now. But like A Whisker Away is like furry type of stuff,
That's
right.
Trying different animals.
I'm trying to think. There was one we watched. I don't know.
I watched I feel like Ponyo. That's another one, but that's like backwards.
Yeah.
He like the fish turns into a kid, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's Luca too. The sea monsters turn into people.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Exactly. God damn. I'm trying to think of. I know there was one that we watched recently where somebody turns into a cat or something. Or somebody can turn back and forth.
That's like one of my favorite things in like fantasy type
You ever
of
play
stuff. Like I love.
Legend of Zelda at all?
Not really. I did a little bit whenever I was much younger. I got had a GameCube.
Yeah.
And it came with like a trial thing for Zelda.
Oh, like a bunch of different, the demo disc where it had a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, I think it was just one or just like a couple different, it wasn't like, you could only go so far.
It was a silver gray case. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's, actually, I might have it.
Really? You have
know.
a GameCube?
I don't have a GameCube anymore, but I definitely had that sample disc.
Yeah.
And it was 20 minutes of Wind Waker, or it had, like, Ocarina of Time on there, it had, I think Majora's Mask was on there, it had a good bit of the games on there, but Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess lets you change back and forth between a human and a wolf. Well,
Sounds
at
like
first
my
you
kind of
can't
game.
control it, and then later on it changes you back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah. And that's honestly one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games. That's why I got the tattoo up there, because that's from the game logo or whatever.
That's cool. Yeah. I love that kind of thing. Like, I was like werewolves. You know, those are anything with werewolves in it. Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch it. You know, like.
Are you a big Twilight fan then?
I mean,
or
like,
is that even?
Well, I mean, yeah, like I was a middle school girl whenever it came out. So I was like, oh my god, you know,
right?
You know, yeah. So I read all of them and stuff, and I watched the movies, and I was like, wow, this is stupid. What was I thinking? But it's still good.
I mean, it was like
it's like a guilty pleasure.
The closest thing to porn without.
For kids, yeah.
For kids, yeah. Like, without going past PG-13, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, so I was definitely Team Jacob. All the way.
Same.
Oh my god.
Same.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I saw the first movie and the last movie, and both of them were because I was dating somebody at the time that was into it. And that was when they were, like, coming out in the movie theater. And I got,
Dragged along.
Yeah. I was not
understand.
interested whatsoever.
Being like that sometimes with significant others. But, you know, the things that we do for love.
Oh my god.
Especially when you're young. When you're like, you know,
you're just oblivious.
15.
Yeah, oblivious
and you
to
have no
everything
fucking idea.
No bearings.
Puberty.
Yeah.
With
No,
the
thank
hormones. You. Yeah, I never want to go through that again. No thanks.
Thankfully, don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, unless you get reincarnated. Unless that's real. Then you have to do it all over again.
Unless you're reincarnated into something else.
Yeah.
Or you reach nirvana.
Yep.
Like, so... If I'm a shittier person, does that mean I can go back to being an animal? Or is it being an animal better than...
I'm pretty sure I said this to somebody the other day. I was like, I feel like it should, like, these should not be, animals should not be lower than humans.
Right,
on the
you have to be a better
of,
person to be able to be a cat.
Right,
yeah.
Right, or
that's a reward.
Spiritual beings. Yeah, we were talking about cats being spiritual beings.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Like the hellflies.
Oh my fucking god.
Ansley is a demon and she has hellflies.
Yes.
What?
Yes. My house, I feel like I'm going fucking crazy because every day I wake up and there's 100 flies in my kitchen.
What?
They're just like in my house, but they congregate in my kitchen. And I catch them and kill them every day and then they come back the next day. And I can't understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I've made very, very sure that I'm like not leaving any door open, cracked or anything, any trash, any dirty dishes, any food out or anything like that, and they're just like swarming. Like it's insane.
Do you have a vent hood, right? Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Any like air vent or anything like that goes to the outside, you might want to check and make sure it has like some sort of mesh on it.
But like, are that many flies? I'm serious.
That's the thing.
It's like
and if you don't
of
have
them.
any food sitting out, then why the hell are they, going in there in the first place?
Like I couldn't figure it out. I mean, like I had somebody clean my house,
Yeah.
And I'm like, my house isn't, and I had somebody do my yard, so it's not like there's a dead animal in the yard by the door or something like that, and they're coming in, and I don't leave the windows open, I don't leave the doors open, and it's like, they're literally, like, I have a demon in me or something.
Yes,
or
God is mad at you, and it's a plague.
Yes, and there's a gateway to hell in my house.
In your kitchen
flies
specifically.
Are coming out. Yeah, it's like Ghostbusters. Like I open the refrigerator and there's.
Have you tried a ring of salt?
No, but that might be a good option. I might try that whenever I get home.
I think that works for ants. If you do like a line of salt in around whatever you're trying to keep them out of, they don't cross the line because of the same reason they.
I've heard of cinnamon.
I know you can give them like grits or rice or whatever, and then they take it to the queen, and then she eats it, and then she like explodes. Yeah.
Oh shit! Like giving a seagull Alka-Seltzer.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
exactly
horrible.
like that.
Yeah, I heard about that when I was in Boy Scouts.
Of course.
13-year-old boys talk about
killing things and
violence.
And
the craziest shit.
But that's not what Boy Scouts is supposed to be about.
Back to the circle of life. Yeah, I mean, most of, like, what they try and teach you is like first aid and camping and stuff.
I always wanted to be a Boy Scout, and my parents were like, "You can't be a Boy Scout, but you can be a Girl Scout." And I was like, "This is
I don't want to just sell cookies.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell fucking
Yeah,
cookies.
and it was like ladybugs and friendship, and I was like, "This is stupid."
No, I want to learn how to be out in the fucking
I
woods.
can't get this.
Is it the button on the front?
Maybe it's locked.
Yep.
Got
There we go.
it. I was like, I need water.
Substance.
But yeah, I was in Boy Scouts for like 6 years, basically, because it was like the only socialization.
Eagle Scout?
Fuck no.
No?
Did
I
you
made
get
it.
that far?
I made it to the second rank because I just didn't. I wasn't that into it. It was a social opportunity for me, which was nice, but I was not. I've never been like that dedicated to anything really until just now with comedy.
Yeah.
But it was just not my thing. And even then, like, the socialization that I got from it was mostly just being like an outcast because like my brother was in it first and he was 2 years older than me, so it was like constantly being in his shadow and like trying not to.
You already weren't into it and didn't want to put yeah.
And he was ranking up and doing all this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. That's frustrating. Especially if it's not something that you wanted to do.
I definitely got some good experiences out of it. I definitely learned a lot of things. I did, surprisingly, as little as I tried to learn. I definitely learned some first aid principles and, like, how to handle myself on a campsite. Like, I could still remember how to make a fire and pitch a tent and do whatever. But,
yeah. I mean, that's cool stuff to know, you know? Like...
Yeah.
That's why we wanted to be in
Boy Scouts. Yeah. Like,
basically every female that I know has wanted to be in Boy Scouts. And it's like, I don't see why it had to be Boy Scouts in the first place anyway.
Well, you know, because gender normity, whatever.
Society.
Yeah, women shouldn't be able to survive if they get lost in the woods.
Exactly.
Gender
like,
shit, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. You know, like women weren't supposed to drive and stuff like what the fuck?
Not on my watch.
Can't wear pants,
right? Like, hold on.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, like, now, there's no way that they can only let boys into Boy Scouts now. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been, like, a whole thing. Like, it's illegal, whatever. There was, like, a lawsuit, I think, or something.
There was a lawsuit about not allowing gay boys, but...
What about transgender people?
That I don't know. It is a Christian organization, too. I don't know if you knew that, but
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not.
I mean,
they
sense,
do.
but...
Like, there's a holiday, Scout Sunday, where the Boy Scouts are supposed to help with the church service. It was the most fun camp out though, because they would let us sleep in the annex of the church the night before, and they would let us.
So fun.
They'd let us bring all of our video game systems and TVs, and we would have like. I shit you not, like 30 TVs set up in that annex, and like there was like probably 8 different TVs and game consoles set up, linked together to play Halo all at the same time.
Wow.
There was a big living room that we set up Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff in, so we have space. The back room, somebody was watching Napoleon Dynamite at all times, basically. It was a blast.
I was gonna say, that sounds like fun.
And then you have to help with church the next day.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like fun.
Nope.
I mean, like, I get how it would be, like, a Christian thing. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, like the morality type of that kind of thing. But, I mean, like, does it really have to be Christian?
Right, it doesn't.
Like, does it have
Somebody just needs to start a different
Boy Scouts
thing. Yeah, like just call it something else and make it.
Cool
like
names.
Bear Grylls.
shop.
Bear Grylls should do it. That's,
Yeah, I love Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
But
also, like, you got a death wish, man.
yeah. Well, have you
Or
ever
something.
seen? Have you ever seen Alone? It's they've got it on Netflix now. I think it originally aired on like History or Discovery.
Possibly.
But basically, they literally it's like a competition show. So they send people, they helicopter them out into the middle of the wilderness, all by themselves, give them like a camera set up and everything so that they can bring with them. And then they have to outlast everybody else that got dropped off. So whoever is able to stay out in the woods alone with just like, they have like a list of like 30 items that you can potentially bring, and you get to pick 10 of them. So some of it's like, flint and a knife, and bow and arrow is like one item or whatever. And then it's just how long can you survive. And one guy, it took him like 72 days to win. And then the next season after that, they made it, you have to stay in for 100 days or you don't get any money. So 3 months alone in the wilderness.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you have to record everything too.
Yeah.
And drop off like all the camera recording equipment, and it's like a huge ass box.
Yeah, it's like a big tote. Oh, Barry.
I'm trying to find new hiding places.
Yeah, that sounds insane. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's intense.
Yeah.
Like Naked and Afraid thing. That's intense.
Oh my God, yeah. I would
Jesus.
never. I would never. It sounds like such a bad idea. I need boots. I'm in the woods. You're in the woods. Wear boots.
Yeah.
I could, like, maybe understand. But, like, I don't know. Something's gonna get caught on something.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be spiny things. There's gonna be animals.
Yes. Insects.
Insects.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Not to mention, you're on camera. Regardless if they're censoring it for television, the entire cast and crew of the TV show is watching you butt-ass naked wander through the woods. Like, I'm good.
No. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Just because it's just like so intense, I guess, I'm not cut out for that. Also, like, we are not cut out for it anymore because we have evolved away from that,
Well, see,
if we did that kind of thing, we would have hair on our body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our feet would be formed differently. You know what I'm saying? We got all soft and squishy because we started wearing clothes and cooking our food and having civilization and stuff.
The people who go on Alone, though, they basically like live like that all the time anyway.
Right.
They just want to do that.
You
and they're
have
like,
to
I
be accustomed to that. To
Train it.
It's just that they, like, wherever they live, they're already set up. Now when they get dropped off, they have to set up a whole new shelter, figure out how they're going to get food on a regular basis.
Right.
I think I could maybe handle, like, Survivor. I could do that, because that is not nearly as intense as, like, Alone. I would be terrible at that. But Survivor is mostly about, like, navigating the drama and, like, doing the contests.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Not so much the survival part.
Right. Which is a factor, but, I mean, you're on a team of people that are all trying to survive together, and regardless of how shitty they always get along.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine, that type of stressful situation, especially if it's, like, real, you know? If something happened to you and that's why you're there.
Yeah.
Like, I used to watch the show I Shouldn't Be Alive.
That show is so crazy.
So good, yeah. But I mean, like, it's like, wow, you really shouldn't be alive. And some of them died, Like, or just never came back, disappeared. like, I think that my favorite one, they ended up making like a book and a movie out of it, was these 3 guys in the Amazon.
Yeah.
And then they meet up with a guide that just bullshits them and gets them completely lost. You know, they tell the story whenever they're like much older, but they're like young guys, you know, like mid-20s or whatever, probably in like the 70s or something, it seems like, maybe. And they go to the Amazon and they want to be, you know, adventurers, and they want to find a tribe that's never seen humans before, or whatever.
It's always the dumbest idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so like there's this guy that says that he can take them to this place, you know, it's here, let's go. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And he gets them, you know, totally lost, and he's like crazy, and then they end up getting separated, and yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
And then they disappear. Three out of 4 of them disappear, and
it's the fucking jungle. Like,
yeah. And one guy actually makes it out and goes back and spends all his time searching for them, and they kind of somewhat figured out maybe where they disappeared, but it's still like they don't know if they ever got to this, you know, tribe, or something happened along the way, if they were killed by, you know, some other, you know, like.
You know, we
crazy.
still haven't, like, explored the Amazon rainforest, like, hardly at all.
Yeah.
Like, barely touched it.
Destroying it.
They, right. And they, have this new thing called LiDAR, which is like radar, but different, I guess.
Okay.
It's like laser. It uses lasers and stuff, so they can see through the tree lines from the air. And they have found, like, all of these fucking ruins and cities and stuff that used to be there. It's fucking insane. Like, not only that, but they've also recently discovered that some of the trees and stuff are grouped together in such a way that it had to be agriculture. Like, it had to be us planting them there. Well, humans planting them there in a specific way for them to be able to populate so incredibly much, because it's like a few different species of trees make up the entire fucking thing, or almost the whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, can they use the lasers, or have they used them to, like, map the ocean, or what, you know, things like that?
I don't know if it works
Right? Like
that deep. Maybe if you put it on the bottom of a boat, probably. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it anyway, but...
You know, because that's another, like, frontier that's, you know...
Yeah. Totally, like, complete unknown, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Loch Ness and all. Giant squids.
Giant squids. Except giant squids are real.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it makes sense. Loch Ness is probably real. What do you say? Because giant squids are real.
The thing about
What?
Loch
I thought
Ness.
you were a conspiracy guy.
The thing about Loch Ness is that the lake itself does not have enough food to sustain a creature of that size. There's a portal. Well, okay, yeah, I guess he probably goes in and out of the earth. Like the hollow inside. Probably hangs out inside of there with all his other dinosaur buddies.
Yeah.
There's got to be dinosaurs in there. I mean, that's where the fossils come from. They die on the inside and slowly get pushed out through the crust.
That makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Oh, man.
Alright, well, we're at an hour 40, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Did you want to go ahead and plug your business and wherever you wanted to, like, if you've got a website?
I don't have a website, but my mobile business is Positive Pet Stylist, and I have a Facebook page.
Hell yeah. And it's just called...
Positive, like a paw.
Yeah.
Like a dog paw, cat paw, whatever.
Adorable.
Absolutely.
Alright. Bye, everyone.
Deep.
Kill your owner.
Yeah, but
Got it.
if it was really that secret, you wouldn't have heard about it.
Yeah.
Would